Good morning and welcome to JChats with Bender JCC CEO Josh Bender. Josh's guest today is Bobby Layman, Bender JCC Building Maintenance Manager.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Bender JCC community. Welcome back to our weekly broadcast we're calling JChats. JChats is a weekly broadcast on Wednesdays at 10:30. And the goal of JChats is to shine a light on some of the individuals in our community who are really making it all happen here at the Bender JCC. Today, my guest is Bobby Layman, who is a member of our maintenance team. He's our building maintenance manager. And thank you so much, Bobby, for being with us this morning and taking the time to sit with us and have a conversation. And before we jump into getting to know Bobby a little bit more, I wanted to take a moment just to acknowledge the important individuals at the Bender JCC who really have been what I would call our frontline people right through the pandemic. We have individuals who can't work virtually from home, who keep our building functioning and operating so that our members come to a building that is ready to go whatever time of day they come here. Our maintenance team, our security team, I would put our front desk membership team. They are the ones who are here, who are greeting our members as they come through and making sure our facility and our building is ready to go. And we appreciate their hard work throughout the pandemic, through a very difficult year. So Bobby, thank you again for joining us this morning. I'm really excited to have the chance to talk with you. I wanted to start off by asking you, you're sort of like a fixture here at JCC, right? People know Bobby, whether it's the children in the preschool, members who come to work out or swim, any gathering that happens at the JCC, you are there and you are present. So let's take a step back a little bit before we talk about sort of what it's like to be working through this pandemic and operating the JCC. First of all, how long have you been at the JCC?
Well, first of all, Josh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here with you. Okay. And I must say, your skills are as Oprah, are gonna be much needed. So please help me with this. I've been here a long time. I came the last week in February, and I have to stop and think about it. And that I have been here for several decades. Okay. However, I'd like to take a tangent and say that much like my life, I don't like to, I guess, assess things in the years per se, because I find that once you've assigned a value to it, you're sort of pigeonholed or boxed per se. Because I'm sure, as you know, there are many people who have been here for a short amount of time that have shown just as brightly. Perhaps a better way to, I guess, clarify that is during the pandemic, I began to ride my bike to work. I found that to be both mentally and physically helpful. However, it was a 9-mile trek, 50-minute trek for me. And it was very, very helpful. But as soon as I began to think about the minutes it would take, how many miles it would take, I began to have second thoughts and found instead to focus more on the quality, that I've had, to focus on what is it that I'm doing during that time to highlight that trek. And I continued it all the way up until it became too cold.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Bobby, I love the idea of that, and certainly you've been here for decades, and it's something that we have such high regard for, the commitment to the Bender JCC. You must have been a young child when you first started here years ago, and I think it's interesting that you talk about quality because when I've been here for about a month now. When I observe you in your element working here at the Bender JCC, you're not just getting your job done, but your presence with staff members, your presence with members, taking always time to talk with whoever is in your presence is a gift that you have and makes, I think, the interactions that people have with you very memorable. Always a smile, and even though you're wearing a mask nowadays around the building, you can tell there's a smile, under that mask. What were what are some of the things about the Bender JCC that that brought you here, that kept you here, that makes it meaningful for you on a daily basis?
Wow. As you said, I came in my late 20s. I was just out of the military, and to be honest, that's a little bit about me. Is actually I actually came out of a bad breakup at the time, and I was with someone for 4 years, and I was going through a very difficult time, and became withdrawn. Found that what I thought I wanted freedom was actually loneliness, and I had a couple of friends who were in college at the time working here, and I guess they saw what I was going through and reached out to me and brought me here, okay, as sort of a means to be friends with me, to enliven me. Soon after, they graduated and left, but I was left here with the amazing staff that welcomed me and brought me into every aspect of their department and life. In fact, one amusing anecdote, we once held a Jewish single service here, and the director, I guess, was so taken with me, constantly was trying to hook me up, through the agency, Went on a few dates, nothing much panned out, but again, I was in my 20s, but again, it has a lot to say about what the center had to offer. It helped me. It gave me something, and in return, I felt a desire to give back.
That's amazing, and thank you for sharing that story. And I didn't know that story, and I love hearing the idea that you came in sort of during a challenging time in your life, and that by becoming part of the community and working here, that it lifted you up, which
yes,
was something really special. And I think you also lift the people up around you, right? So I was walking by this. We're grateful that we have the Red Cross today doing a blood drive. I understand there's about 50 donors giving blood during a time where it's desperately needed. And I stopped by to check on the organizer, said, "How's everything going? Do you need anything?" He's like, "Oh, Bobby has it all taken care of. Everything's good." So, I mean, that's sort of you in a nutshell, right? You take care of your people, and that's something really, really special. What would you attribute your ability? Because one thing I notice in seeing your interactions, even like during a challenge moment where maybe there's a building issue that has to be addressed really quickly, you seem to still be able to maintain calm composure, and you're still smiling. You're not getting all frazzled. What do you attribute that ability? That's a gift.
Well, thank you. Inwardly, I am a train wreck, a mess, right? But thank you for saying that. But quite honestly, I feel a comfort in those who are around me. Aaron, you yourself have been a mainstay for me. I don't feel per se a panic, because I know that you've got my back. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, which is great. It means that I think I have the ability to listen to several good ideas. And that said, even if I may not come up with the ideal solution, I think that you and those around me can solve just about anything. And you did mention here, always with a smile. That isn't necessarily true. I do have my moments. I have my bipolar moments, and that I do get sad. But what helps me are those who are passionate about what they do. Honestly, there may be a few people around that just kind of take their job or their lives kind of blasé, kind of want to avoid them. But I'm like an emotional vampire. If I encounter someone who's excited about what they do, it kind of infects you. You know what I mean? You want to
Contagious.
succeed with them. You know,
Yeah, no, it's
you don't want
definitely.
them to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. And your enthusiasm is contagious.
Thank you.
To shift, so thinking about your decades here at the Bender JCC, really started to see like generations of members come through. And I know you mentioned to me a few days ago that like because of the pandemic, you can't go into the school and spend the time and get to know the kids in the way they're normally do. But could you say a few words about what it's like now to have these decades-long relationships with members of the JCC and maybe now some of them who were kids at one time, growing up, seeing them as maybe parents and grown-ups with kids who are now, you know, coming to the Bender JCC?
Oh yes, absolutely. First off, it's such a shame to see the kids now. You know, they want to be so interactive and social. And in fact, sometimes when they're out on the playground and I'm out under the tent, they just line up on the fence. I mean, you're just clinging to it, Bobby, 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 because you can tell they need and want that interaction. And kudos to the teachers for allowing that. And if I may, I do have one story, an incident that is very similar to that, in that a couple of years ago, I was over at Montgomery Mall, and I noted this, to me, a young woman was kind of staring at me and following me around. I was, you know, all alone shopping, you know, for the holidays. And finally, I guess she took up the nerve to stop me. And she goes, you're Bobby, aren't you? Right? And you work at the JCC. And I go, yes, I do, you know, and I'm, so please, you got to wait here. My son remembers you. Please, will you wait here while I go get him? And I go, sure. So, you know, I'm thinking, you know, she's going to go get her husband and this middle school boy, right? And lo and behold, this 20-year-old comes up and goes, Bobby, I remember you back when I was in ECC. And I guess what I find so meaningful about being here, my family and friends tend to roll their eyes because no matter where I go, anywhere in this community, I invariably run into somebody who knows me. And to take myself, I guess, outside of that, I don't think it's really about me as much as it says the impact that we as the center has had on the community. I am nothing by myself, but it just meant all those people that had said, Bobby, I know you, I've seen you before, meant they had been here at the center and have experienced us. The impact that we had on their lives is tremendous.
Yeah, that's great, and I think that's amazing to be able. That's a great story you share about you know, the individuals you run into the community who remember you, and I think you know, as we talked about earlier, that ability to like just, you know, take the time in your busy schedule and your busy day to stop and really you know, be present with people and you know, with children in particular, they remember the adults who stop and talk with them and take the time to get to know them, you know, and who they are. And so that, what a great way to sort of celebrate the years that you've had here, to know the relationships and the memories that people have of you. So let's shift a little bit. You know, in our JChats over the last few weeks with our guests, we've been talking about you know, how you know, challenging it has been, you know, operating through the pandemic and keeping our JCC open to the community, our school open, and all the work that has gone into that, and all of the creativity and the flexibility and hard work in order to really, keep operations going. So like thinking about pre-pandemic and thinking about, hopefully we're all praying and hoping that we're on our way to a post-pandemic world, hopefully sooner than later. What are some things that you really miss about sort of the center, in quote unquote normal times?
Truthfully, and it's the bonding. I'm, I guess you call it like an emotional vampire, and that I'm not the kind of guy you'd take out for lunch for a discussion. I'm more of the person that you probably would have on the couch at night, the bond with. I'm not much of a conversationalist, and I think that's what I miss. I could always walk down the halls, and even though I might not have the ability to socialize, our staff and even our members kind of will bring me out of that slump, to say hello to me.
Right.
And sometimes that elicits a great emotional, response. And I miss that, much like I mentioned the kids. We don't have it. Zoom, we can talk, but I honestly, I don't have this connection I could have with you physically.
Right, exactly. I having started my job in the beginning of December, in the middle of the pandemic, we obviously, my experience of the JCC is not, I have to sort of use my imagination a little bit of what life looked like before the pandemic in terms of all the in-person gatherings and events. And we're still seeing lots of members coming to work out and swim in our pools. And we're so grateful to our ability to remain open and keep things safe and keep serving the community. But, I hear the story about, like, on Fridays, the preschoolers will come in the lobby and gather for Shabbat singing and those, those moments of gathering and connection that we're not having nearly as much. And the virtual is great, but and we're grateful to the technology, but it's not quite the same. So,
No.
we all look forward to a time when we can hear the voices and see the sights of people gathering in our spaces and in our buildings in full capacity.
Yes.
So just, I wanted to close out. We sort of opened up a little bit. You shared a little bit about yourself and that that bike riding is something you enjoy. Is there other hobby or interests outside of your work at the Bender JCC that you enjoy doing?
I feel I've shared a little too much, Josh.
Oh, you're doing great.
Maybe into hiding soon, but those who know me, what I am passionate about is I love racquetball. I find myself, I guess maybe because of my age, I'm all over the place. And what I mean to say by that is that my interest in music can span from classic rock all the way to the influence of my daughters. I now listen to hip hop and the DMV rap now. And I personally, let's say all my Prime and Netflix accounts, believe it or not, I'm not ashamed to say, are filled up with romantic comedies and documentaries. I have to say the most strangest thing that I had done was, I guess near the end of summer, my friends and I found this website. It's called Urbex. Okay, we were just searching for some fun things to do. Basically, it was a website that listed abandoned places of supernatural or old places, and they would give descriptive descriptions of where they were. Lo and behold, we found this one place that was called Hell House, and it was somewhere in upper Baltimore. It was located way deep in the woods. Anyway, we went. It had to be after midnight, and we ran into these two paranormal investigators. While going, they helped us to find the site, because when we actually got there, it was an altar, and it was so funny to see them to try and elicit these demons and evil
So you like
spirits
that?
to come out. Can you imagine?
You like
If
the
this was true, if they're trying to bring them out.
you like
But
the
just saying, this is I guess some of the crazy things that I guess I'm finding myself get into.
So there's one thing. So there's one thing I think that I'm going to ask of you is when our racquetball courts hopefully open up soon.
Yes.
Like racquetball, something I've always wanted to learn how to play. I'm a tennis player, so I look forward to playing some racquetball with you when we get our racquetball courts up and running. Hopefully really soon. Bobby, I want your time today. I want to thank you for all your years of service to the Bender JCC.
Thank you.
And your hard work through the pandemic, and keep doing what you're doing, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you to the Bender JCC community and others for joining in today. For JChats, we meet every Wednesday at 10:30. We have some very interesting guests coming up in the next few weeks. Stay tuned for more information on that. Please stay healthy, and we'll see you really soon. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Bobby. Be well.
No, thank you.